Okay, so we are here today with Becky from Stagecraft Creations. Do you want to say hi, introduce yourself, and a bit about your business? So, types of products, etc.
Yeah. So I'm Becky. I'm on Stagecraft Creations. Stagecraft Creations came about from my previous business, which was Scrunchies for Theatre, where I just made musical theatre themed scrunchies. So make all sorts. So Back to the Future, Wizard of Oz, Wicked. Kind of got scrunchies for those shows that are currently running. Um, and then last year, I decided to expand my product range into other things like key rings and wooden engravings. And so through that, just kind of rebranded the business, which formed Stagecraft Creations. So as a whole, I've been going for about 4 years now, but as Stagecraft Creations for 1 year. So yeah.
Gosh, that's a long time.
It is a long time. It's pretty good. It's nice to be able to expand your business as well, sort of take that same talent and give it a new little twist.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
exactly. What made you start with the scrunchies in the first place?
So the scrunchies came about as a lockdown project, essentially. So I was sent home from uni and I was basically in bed and my mum came to me and was like, go get a job. You are gonna get depressed if you stay in bed all day. And I was like, no, there are people that need jobs that actually need them. I don't. Very fortunately didn't need the money. And so she's like, okay, well, you've got to do something. And so as a theatre person and also someone who works in the theatre industry, I was like, okay, let's find some way of giving back to the arts. So I had a sewing machine. I'd previously made scrunchies as a child. And so I was like, let's make some theatre themed scrunchies because why not? Maybe people will buy them and I can donate to charity. And so I think lens of fabric from a custom fabric printing company that I still use now. And got test swatches of each of them, made 8 scrunchies, put them on Facebook, and was like, selling these, all the profits go to acting for others and the Actors Fund. Who wants one? I was not anticipating the huge 4 hours. I had over 100 orders for 400 scrunchies, totaling £1,000 profit. So within 24 hours,
Whoa.
raised £1,000, which went directly to those two charities.
Oh,
And
amazing.
I then had to close orders. Turns out you can break Facebook Messenger because you can only have 50 requests at any one time in your inbox.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
because I broke that limit. And so at that point it was just an Excel spreadsheet and a piece of paper and my sister making tallies of every single order that we had. And then I went and ordered the fabric, made them, ship them out over the course of a month. And then I had some excess fabric. So I was like, let's put this on a website, see how it does. And the website launch then sold out within 24 hours of the remaining scrunchies. And
Wow.
so people just kept asking me, are you going to do more designs? Are you going to bring them back? And I was like, you know what? I've got nothing better to do. I'm sat like at this point, it was now July. I was like, may as well just keep going. So I ordered 4 more designs in, and then the next month I did another 4 designs, and it just kind of turned into this. And so I just kept it going. Once everything kind of eased out from kind of COVID and I went back to uni, I took my sewing machine and my boxes full of fabric and all my shipping stuff with me to my tiny little uni flat. Probably annoyed the heck out of my flatmates, but they got free scrunchies out of it. Kept it going all through uni, moved to London, and have kept it going ever since.
It's amazing.
So
That
yeah.
sounds great. What's your favorite part about running this business?
I think my favorite part is there's two. There's the creative outlet of it. So much of it just comes from getting to design stuff and kind of find new techniques and of kind of I'm a creative person. I like doing stuff. I don't like just sitting on my phone doing nothing. So sitting on my iPad kind of designing or my laptop drawing kind of gives me that creative outlet that I didn't kind of necessarily have before. And then the other side of it is the community. It's like I've made so many
Mm.
friends through this business, whether it be people that are repeat customers that every time I release a new product, they will go and buy that product regardless of the design. They will buy it, which I find insane. And then the community that we've got of other small businesses that have
Mm.
kind of come together through making like not the same products, but all making theatrical products.
Yeah,
And that I've got some amazing friends through it. So yeah.
absolutely. And I guess it's quite fun using the different mediums because like you've come up with such different designs, if that makes sense. So there's
Yeah.
the scrunchies and then the stickers and then the necklaces with the coordinates as well.
Yeah.
Those are so cute. They're adorable.
So yeah. Yeah, it's been fun. So scrunchies when I first launched it, like 4 years ago, in 2020. Originally I was just doing logos because knowing it was a charitable thing, you can do that. It's like I wasn't profiting off these like businesses. And so used logos, and then at the point that it became not just a charitable donation, but became a small business, issue quotes. And so that's where the design element comes from. It's like I take the show's logo and I basically create a design, either be it hand drawn or some of it is using just what's available on PowerPoint. The vast majority of this is just PowerPoint functions that I've used to create designs that look like the logo but with a quote from the show. And so yeah, for the scrunchies, that's what I've done. And then that transitions again into the stickers, which are those same designs just on sticker. And again, with the key rings, is that it's the same design, just engraved on a metal key ring. And then in that last year, I've experimented with kind of drawing theatres and then putting those onto either slate or wood.
It is. It's exciting because you've got all of these different elements from the shows, whereas usually, if you've got one product that you stick to, you've kind of got one element in which you
Yeah,
use, but you've got theatres, you've got, the iconic
colours
colors
and
and the fonts and all of this, which is just really exciting because it means that someone can look at your product and like collect them. So you've got those repeat customers, like the ones that have got scrunchie after scrunchie. I've got your Tick Tick Boom one, and I wear it
yeah,
all the time. I've got to get my hands on some more.
yeah.
What got you into musicals in the first place? Because it is quite its own niche.
Yeah. So back when I was a child, my mum loved Starlight Express. She went to Germany to see the production when she was a kid. So she kind of clearly grew up on that. And she liked musicals, like she liked Les Mis. And I vividly remember being in the car on the way to school because I had about a half-hour drive to school and back each day as a child. And I vividly remember being in the car and it was a soundtrack or Starlight Express soundtrack. Um, and so it was a lot of Andrew Lloyd Webber as a child, and I just grew up listening to those songs. And then when I want to say 7 or 8, I went the current touring production of Joseph was out, and it was in my hometown, and so I got and I had watched. It was just after they did the Any Dream Will Do Finding Joseph contest, where Lee Mead went and did the role on the West End, but he didn't do the tour. But I remember going and seeing that, and kind of that really sparked it. And then I loved performing. I performed at school. My school were great. Had a not like arts program, but every year group did a play once a year, and also did an additional like educational assembly that they would put on. And so I kind of grew up kind of performing and being directed into that. And then in year 6, they basically asked for a couple of people to kind of help do lighting for the other productions. And so I remember this little 11-year-old me was behind a follow spotting this year 1 kid doing her solo. And I was like, oh, there's another side to this. And then started secondary school. And all of a sudden I had to audition to do the show. And I was like, no, no, thanks. I don't want to do that. I don't want to audition for anything. And so it kind of fell away. I just lost my touch with theatre. And then a friend of mine was like, you need to listen to this. I know you used to listen to musicals a lot. Listen to this. And she played me, I think it was Satisfied from Hamilton. And I was like, nah, not interested. 3 months later, another friend of mine comes up and was like, listen to this song. And it was the Schuyler Sisters from Hamilton. And I was like, oh, this is good. I like this. And so I was listening to that one song on repeat for days. And then I started kind of listen to the whole of Hamilton, loved it. and then through that discovered In the Heights, and then around it was Dear Evan Hansen was the big show at the time, and I just kind of slowly added stuff into my kind of roster of knowledge of theatre.
Yeah.
And then I had joined club to audition to do that, and through that got offered a chance to go see Wicked on the West End, which would have been my second time ever going to see a show on the West End, despite living relatively close to it at the time. Um, and so I went and I was like, I want to do that. I want to make things move on stage. And so suddenly I was like, okay, there is you don't have to be an actor. You can actually go do something as a career and still be involved in theatre, but not be on stage. And so through that kind of became obsessed with lighting and set and sound, and ended up going and doing a tech theatre degree, and now I work on the West End. So yeah, kind of
Real full circle.
yeah, real full circle. And I mean, one of the highlights of my career so far was getting to do the most recent Joseph UK tour and getting to be part of that, even if for just 2 weeks, and going, this show is what started my love of theatre, and now I'm working on it in a professional manner. And that was a very full circle moment. And that
Yeah, that must be so special.
That's wild though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like all these little decisions that bring you to where you are today.
Yeah.
What's the most recent show that you've seen?
The most recent show that I've seen is The Wizard of Oz. There's a guy in it that I know really well, who also understudies Toto, and so I've been a couple times in the last week, I will admit. Toto. I was chatting to him just yesterday because he was in Joseph, and I was saying to him that I've gone from like what I call Joseph like my special rainbow show, because of all the colours. And then it kind of occurred to me yesterday, I was like, oh, this show is another kind of rainbow show, and that he's gone from one to the other. And yeah, it's just like Joseph and Wizard of Oz, and they both hold special places in my heart now. So yeah.
That actually, I mean, I guess that's partially answered the next question, which is the dreaded, like, what are your, and I'm not going to give you a number, but what are your like top musicals? What are the ones that sort of built your personality?
So top musicals would be Joseph for sure. I mean, I grew up on that. Same with Starlight Express. I've yet to see the current production. I will do at some point. It's on my list. Other than that, kind of, I always fall back to Wicked. Maybe it being kind of the first West End show I saw kind of as an adult, even though I was 17. But that was, that was the one that really kickstarted it back in. I also grew up on Mamma Mia, that film, and that was the first West End show I ever saw. So that will always kind of hold a place in my heart as well, I think. Other than that, shows I really love, even though I've never seen it professionally, In the Heights. I absolutely love that show and listen to it all the time. And then Operation Mincemeat is probably one of my favorites of those. Whitney Manning, Newsies. I was a big fan of that when that was at the Troubadour in Wembley. Loved that. And then my current hyperfixation show, as I like to call it, is The Notebook, which is yet to make it over here. But that I saw in New York a couple of weeks ago, and that was so phenomenal. I went into it having never seen the film, and so I went in totally blind, no idea what was happening. And that is my go-to cast album at the moment, is to listen to that on repeat. It's so good.
That's a wide variety, really.
But yeah, really, yeah, I do have a big variety. Like, I've always saw myself as like a big song and dance number, so kind of things like Wicked and Joseph. But then I do love this kind of more intimate, like ensemble, like because a very ensemble piece. Dear Evan Hansen and Come From Where, I forgot about that one. Love that show.
Yeah,
I love a lot of shows. It's hard to enjoy a show. It's like I definitely have my favorites and I have my type, but I do equally love kind of everything.
Just theatre. Just love theatre.
Yeah, theatre. It's like there are very few shows that I've gone in and gone, no, I really don't like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, and everything that I've seen, I've gone, cool, wasn't my thing, but I'm glad I saw it. It's like I've never come out of a show going, I wish I hadn't done that. So yeah.
Do you tend to sit in the show and whilst you're watching the show come up with design, sort of like, oh, this would make a good design, or that would make a good design, or are you literally just there experiencing the moment?
I think like with regard, like the first time I ever watch a show, I'm always just in the moment. If it's a show I'm then seeing multiple times, then like from a kind of tech perspective, that's when I start to kind of analyze like the set and the
Ah,
more, and I kind of go, oh, what would I do if I was to design like the
mm,
actual design a production of this with regards to like my products and coming up with designs, because so much of mine is kind of taking what's already there and then like creating it my own. So it's like I am like, all of my designs are inspired by the logos of those shows. So it is very much kind of going, okay, this logo is more complicated. How would I make that work to make it what it is? Like the Wizard of Oz one, for example, has a very detailed logo for the way it says Oz, and
mm,
that wasn't something that you can just find on the internet as a
Mm.
font and copy and paste it. And so I had to really come up with creating my own way of making it look like the logo, but with
yeah.
like one of my favorite designs is actually the waitress design, which was one of my first ones I ever did. But I will vividly remember spending 5 hours on PowerPoint trying
Wow.
to
Yeah.
get it to look as close to that logo as I possibly could with the text. And it took a long time, but I got it. And it is for that reason one of the ones I'm most proud of, because I then used that basis to form so many of my other designs by going, okay, I'll copy and paste that because it's a similar style. And then I just change the font and change like the depths of things and then go, okay, now I've got it to look like, I'm trying to think of another example, Back to the Future, which has that 3D effect.
Yeah.
The effect ones are really fun to do, but they're the most difficult to make.
Mm.
But yeah.
So what is your bestseller at the moment?
Best sellers, probably six. Six is always up there. Particularly for me because I make scrunchies. Heather's is constantly up there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes sense.
so those two are definitely like some of my more popular ones. But equally, I think kind of anytime I just release something new, people kind of go to like gravitate to it. And particularly where I've got those repeat customers, it's like they
Mm.
will come and grab it before it's too late. Particularly at the moment is I'm going into a phase of kind of making things more limited edition just because I'm running out of space to stock stuff. I've got my tiny little London flat.
Yeah.
I've got massive amounts of products. Thankfully scrunchies aren't that big, so it's that helps. But I'm kind of going with a kind of limited edition approach where it's like, I've got this much fabric, I will make what I can. Once it's gone, it's gone. I'm not going to
Mm.
restock them. And so that kind of also, I think, is helping people go, oh, if I want that one, I've got to get it. And others are definitely probably my most popular.
Mm.
Also helped by the fact that I have the most designs of those because I've got my six scrunchie and then I've got a scrunchie for each queen. Same with Heather's, is I've got my Heather scrunchie and then I've got a scrunchie for each Heather plus
Yeah.
Veronica. So yeah, and people like buying those as a set, which I think
Yeah.
is
Yeah. I mean, naturally. Do you find that you have the same thing of like when you release a new scrunchie, you're like, no, this is my favorite scrunchie. Oh no, wait, but this is my favorite scrunchie.
yeah, it's like I'm currently in the process of designing 10 new designs to release for the various events this coming autumn, I guess. Autumn, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and through that, I'm going through them, like jumping back and forth between different designs as I'm kind of struggling with it. I'll go, okay, I'll try this design. Um, and already I'm like, oh, I really like this one. And I'm like, oh, but this one's really good too.
Yeah.
And so I do definitely like jump back and forth. It's like I've got the ones I'm most proud of for sure, but then I've got the ones that I just love because of how they came together and how they looked overall. It's like a really weird one that I love is my SpongeBob design. And the thought of it because it's right there, but it's the first one that I did with a textured background. So as well as
Yeah.
just the it's the best day ever, it's probably hard to see, but
Oh,
Oh,
that's
you can
cute.
see
Yeah.
it. Yeah, all the little bubbles.
got the bubbles in the background. And it
That's
was the
so
first time
cute.
I've done something like that. And I just loved how it worked and came out. Um, so yeah, kind of the other one that does speak that is I spent ages because again it's a custom font that they created. I spent ages kind of tracing those letters and then going, okay, well, I don't have this letter from the Joseph logo. Let's use what I've got to kind of make it work. I think it's like I
Figure
took
out.
the M in Dreamo and turned that into the W in Will Do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
How
clever.
can I
That's very clever.
look like it, but even though I can't directly replicate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the Joseph one just came out really amazingly, and I love that one.
It just looks so cool. Have you got any new releases coming between now and the market?
Like a quick little spoiler alert.
Yes, so some of my new releases that I've got, and these are going to be super limited, but I've got Kathy and Stella.
Yes.
So for Scrunch, I've got Kathy and Stella. Starlight Express, if I can make it work, I'm really struggling to design that one. What else have I got? There's 10 of them.
Put you on the spot.
She's Strange Carrot Cake, Rocky Horror, because every year someone comes to me and be like, you need to do Rocky Horror. And I was like, I know, I've still not done it. So that's finally on the list. Next to Normal will be in there. The Notebook will be in there. That was kind of my choice. That was like, I had a list of 9. I was like, I need to do 10. Let's put the Notebook in there. Merrily We Roll Along is in there. And there's definitely others. I can't remember off the top of my head what else there is. But it's a lot of the newer shows that have just come to the West End or Broadway that are finally getting their design, because I've not designed anything new since this time last year.
So we can say lots of surprises for people going.
Lots of surprises, and lots of new products. So yeah.
Lovely. That's very exciting. So do you want to give us, just to close off, again, short description of you, your business, and the products you'll be selling at
and where people can find you?
Oh my gosh. Wait, hang on. We've got to cover, so cash or card payment situation.
So yeah, we will take both cash and card at the event, which will be able to cover both. So yeah.
Great. And then yes, okay, to round off, I jumped the gun. Just who you are, who your business is, and what you'll be selling at Musical Theatre Market, and your socials.
Yeah, so I'm Becky and I run Stagecraft Creations, and we predominantly make musical theatre themed scrunchies, but as well, we also do various other products, including slate coasters, which are new and coming this year, keyrings, stickers, jewelry. We kind of do all sorts. And you can find us at Stagecraft Creations on Instagram and at www.stagecraftcreations.com, which will lead you to my Etsy.
Great. We are very much looking forward to having you.
Yes.
And I'm going to get my hands on more scrunchies and maybe some lovely engraved items.
You have a list, don't you?
I have a list.
Yeah.
I do. I can't lie.